Hello there, everybody. Welcome on into today's video. Really appreciate taking time on your day, swing on over and checking it on out. We have GFRIEND theory videos. Theory, some lore. These are all videos that buddies have made, going through MVs or eras, talking about what they think is potentially the meaning behind some of these MVs and what it means for like the lore and the storyline, etc. So what we're gonna do, I do have like 4 parts to this, and I said in yesterday's video I split it up because I had like 11 videos. So I was like, that's gonna be like almost 3 hours long. So I did break it up. So the rest of this week, that's what we're gonna be doing. Okay. I tried to break it up so it is starts with like the beginning, and then the last videos are going to end with like the more recent stuff, tying all of that lore in and like those theories. We're probably going to pause in between these videos and kind of discuss on it. And like my theories based off of what I am seeing, what they are picking up, what I was picking up, see if the like things are matching. This video here, where we have 4 little videos, we're gonna start off with a fingertip explanation, or fingertip explained as it's called. Then we have time for Moon Knight, a detailed explanation around that and how it connects to past MVs. We have a sunrise theory. We also have a labyrinth explanation, or MV explanation. Tomorrow we'll have more labyrinth and crossroads content as to tie that in, as well as starting to tie in like Apple. And then we have a big huge thing is like everything in the GFRIEND universe explained. That's kind of like right around like the Apple time frame. And then a few people made theory videos for Mago as well as Season of Memories, so we're gonna do those as well. I did keep out BBZ's theory video because somebody did bookish theories. We have a ton of their videos. Everybody in Discord said they're fantastic and they're good watches. They have one for BBZ and how that lore ties in, and we'll probably maybe watch that when we check out BBZ's music and go through like their little mini dive that we're going to be doing after this, and see how that all ties in, because I really have only heard like 4 songs, I think, from BBZ, and that's about it. So I didn't want to spoil myself with any theories or any anything like that until we've checked out MVs, etc. So that is that. Now, no further questions, answers that I have for you all. So feel free, though, if you guys have your own theories and your own kind of thoughts, leave them in the comment. I love reading your comments. I don't get a chance to reply to everything, but I love reading them. So if you guys have like your own little theories on some of these, feel free, please leave them. I'd love to hear your thoughts around what you think, or if you agree or disagree with some of these little theories that we got cooking on these videos. I'd love to know. Other than that, that's it. So grab your drink, grab your snack, and let's go. All right, Fingertip. I love me some Fingertip. Great song.
Hello, everyone. Today I'd like to talk about my theory for GFRIEND's new music video, Fingertip.
Let's go. Yeah.
A lot of people thought this music video was about growing up or a loss of innocence, since this is a lot more mature concept for GFRIEND.
I mean, it is.
In the past, they've done really cute and sweet music videos and dances, but now they've got these camo outfits and ties and hip-hop solos and that dance move.
And that.
But taking a closer look at the video, I don't think
so
a
valid,
just growing up story is the full story. It took me a lot of rewatching, but I've created a theory that coherently explains everything in the video.
The butterfly.
Makes a lot more
that
sense
butterfly,
than the loss of
man.
innocence
Butterfly
theories.
clocks.
So we'll be looking at major symbols, examining the roles of each character, and finally looking
I
closely
love
at the
this.
story.
I'm obsessed already.
Once and for all.
Let's go.
Most of the video takes place in various dreams, which the characters have, and sometimes travel in between. We see at certain points the dream self leaving the actual self to go into these dream worlds. Now, some dreams take place in the real world, not to say they aren't still dreams. I've identified the rooftop, Eunha's room, and the highway to all be real-world dreams, given the similar skies and modern settings. Other dreams take place on different planets or in strange rooms.
Yeah, all
Each
the animals.
dream world is represented by a glass bead. We see Eunha look into a glass bead that contains Shinbi's
She has
dream.
a glass bead, like,
it's likely that the
so
larger
many.
beads are the worlds people are dreaming in, whereas smaller beads are worlds that don't have anyone dreaming in them. Another dream symbol is the gun.
I could see that.
In the normal world, getting shot by a gun is almost always fatal, but remember, you can't die in a dream. So if you get shot, you wake up. Symbolically, this represents that harsh dose of reality that can cause someone to face the facts of life and grow up, leaving their childhood behind. As such, the quote-unquote adult characters are the ones carrying and using these guns. Finally, the butterfly.
Yeah,
some people said this symbolizes innocence that Eunha has to let go of, but I believe it symbolizes the butterfly effect. The power to create massive change through a small action. In this music video, if someone catches the butterfly, they can create whatever massive change they want. And this brings us to the characters. There are two main groups of characters. Those who want a butterfly effect to occur, and those who don't. The first group consists of Eunha,
interesting.
Shinbi, and Yerin. They want the butterfly, but all for different reasons.
Okay.
Eunha wants it so she can go back to what it was like when she was younger. She longs for her childhood again, and wants to turn back time. Shinbi, on the other hand, wants to turn it forward. She's excited for the future, and just wants to grow up already and become an adult. She's a go-getter, whereas Eunha is a laid-back, wishful thinker. Shinbi and Eunha are also the two most powerful characters in the story, since they have so much knowledge of and control over dreams. Indeed, they both have in their possession a large number of glass beads, or dream worlds. Yerin wants the butterfly too, but she seeks it out by helping others get it. Initially, she sides with Shinbi in trying to move time ahead. So what about the others? Sowon, Yuju, and Umji. I call them the hunters, and they want to stop anyone from getting the butterfly. They see how much danger there is in unleashing it, and want to maintain order by stopping anyone who tries to make a butterfly effect happen. So now that we have our setup, let's take a look at the story.
I can totally see this. We talked about it when we were watching the MV. Like, it seemed like there was two sides.
We see Eunha chasing the butterfly. Notice that her dress is very sweet and childlike, especially compared to everyone else. But her expression is somber. She's been worn out by life and wants to go back. But before she can reach the butterfly, it disappears in a flash of blue light. She's now in her room, writing "Where are you?" with a drawing of the butterfly next to it. Now, without her butterfly, time threatens to turn forward to the point of no return. Indeed, we later see Shinbi holding this rapidly spinning clock as if she's responsible for this. But it's not too late. There's still hope for Eunha, as the butterfly remains uncaught. Now the dreams begin. We see various dream selves entering. Yerin looks down at herself sleeping, Yuju leaves her dream self in a mirror, Umji steps out of herself into another world, and Shinbi steps into Eunha's dream. She looks around, sees Eunha, and panics a little bit, which prompts Eunha to wake up. This is just a false awakening, or maybe her going from one dream into another. She is still dreaming, but now she knows that Shinbi is onto her and out for her. So she picks up a glass bead, which contains Shinbi! We see her running from something, and sure enough, Sowon and Yuju are in their car and seem to be going after Shinbi. As I said before, they're in a real-world dream, and Shinbi is not. But she's running as if they're right behind her and is very afraid. Eventually, she turns around and shoots a TV screen, which contains Sowon and Yuju's car. Even though they're in different worlds, Shinbi can do quite a bit of damage, considering she's so powerful. But she was never in danger, and this fact becomes important towards the end. The camera zooms out to reveal Shinbi holding her glass bead. But she, along with the other 5 members, are all on someone's fingertip. But whose? Eunha's. Perhaps a sign that she's got things under control.
She's reined it in.
A door opens in front of her, and we see another dream inside a strange room.
The
Shinbi's
animal
sneaking
room.
around, looking for the butterfly, but ducks and hides when she sees Umji walk in. Umji has many stuffed animals locked up in cages. Compare this to Eunha's room, where they're scattered and out in the open. Umji's stuffed animals are definitely not for playing with, and are likely imprisoned. Shinbi tries to walk away, but shoots her down. Two interesting things happen. One, various glass beads fall to the floor. Again, we see that Shinbi knows a lot about various dream worlds. But two, she's still in the dream. She's powerful enough that the energy blast from doesn't knock her out of the dream, just kind of knocks her out. Reaches down, likely to get the glass beads, but Shinbi fires her gun, flies off in a burst of heart-shaped smoke, and guess who doesn't show up for the rest of the dream story? Eunha, having missed all the action, walks in. Some of the stuffed animals are now free, and a few start coming to life now that Eunji's not around. Eunha picks up a stuffed elephant, but then suddenly looks up. We see that she's inside a box, and that this dream world was made by someone to capture Eunha. This actually makes a lot of sense.
Does.
Since the room looks nothing like any other dream set. It's artificial. But who's got the box, then? Well, Shinbi and Yerin. They've got Eunha and are ready to find that butterfly and turn time forward. But Soan and Yuju come to stop them. They each fire their guns, Yerin and Shinbi duck, the blasts both collide, and everything starts to glitch up. And what happens next is one of the most important plot events in this video.
Okay.
We're about to see some intense stuff happen, so strap in everyone, because up until now we've just been cruising to the top of the roller coaster. The real ride starts here.
Okay, I'm invested.
Lifts up her glass bead and lets out the butterfly. That's right, she's caught it, and she's letting it flap its wings and create Eunha's wish. This isn't a dream, yes, but both Eunha and the butterfly are so powerful that it doesn't matter. There's no going back now. The wish has been fulfilled. All that's left for her to do is wait a few minutes, and time will turn back.
You know what? This makes so much sense.
Is that
actually?
It? Are we done with the story? No. We've still got one more
because we have a lot, like, later on, like, where you see the time, like,
and the
ticking backwards.
That ties all these events together, so let's go. Yuju is floating in Eunha's room, reaching out to stop the butterfly, but she can't. The quote-unquote damage has already been done.
Yeah.
Soan and are covered in butterflies, suggesting that Eunha's wish will affect them as well. Interesting. Meanwhile, Yerin combines red and blue energy to create a glass bead of her own. Shinbi holds her glass bead tightly. It contains a red flower. Now, I bet you thought this was all just filler, but there's more to it. Notice how Eunha's butterfly blue and Shinbi's rose red combine in Yerin's glass bead. She's effortlessly blending these two opposing forces together. And this hints at a greater theme that will become clear very soon. In addition, Eunha's bead, or world, is wide open. Shinbi's is closed shut. But Yerin's is fluid, neither fully open nor fully closed. One more comparison between Eunha and Shinbi. As you probably know, butterflies pollinate flowers. Eunha's doing the action, and Shinbi is receiving. Remember when I said Shinbi was a go-getter and Eunha was a wishful thinker? Well, now the roles are reversed. Eunha is getting stuff done, and Shinbi is the one being affected by it.
Getting stuff done is right.
Again, hinting at this wish affecting people other than Eunha. Remember that. Anyways, Shinbi doesn't like this at all and keeps her flower closed off from the rest of the world so that it can't be pollinated.
Okay.
Hint. Not getting pollinated means that the flowers can't live on. Don't worry, Shinbi doesn't die. But something crazy meaningful is afoot. We see that Eunha is now on the rooftop, and Shinbi and Yerin are aiming guns at her. See, Shinbi's got a plan. If she can shoot Eunha and give her that harsh dose of reality, then when she goes back in time it'll be too late. The wish will be fulfilled, as it now has to be, but it will be worthless, because she'll have already grown up. Now this plan is inherently flawed, because Shinbi doesn't understand something crucial. But that will be revealed later. Eunha starts walking backwards, getting very close to the edge of the roof. Then, as Shinbi's about to shoot, Yerin rushes in to help Eunha. She's now made a different choice and gone onto her side. For a brief second, because Shinbi shoots Yerin instead, and she's torn from the fabric of dream reality. Not exactly what you intended, huh, Shinbi?
She's like,
at this point, Eunha falls off the roof, which is a way better choice than staying and getting shot.
True.
She wakes up without being hit by reality in a way that would make her lose her connection to her childhood. Not that it makes a difference, because as I said, there's something Shinbi really doesn't get, but don't worry, we're getting there. Anyways, Eunha seems very calm as she slowly falls off the building. She wakes up, now out of the dream, looks around, and lies back down. She knows that she just has to wait. And indeed, the clock starts spinning backwards, and Eunha's tears slowly reverse. Out the window, we see a sparkling Orion with shooting stars in the background. What does this mean? Is it a sign that the hunters are gone, trapped in the sky forever? A symbol of hope for Eunha, encouraging her to fight on when people try to stop her wishes and dreams? Or an ominous warning that the war is still raging on? That is yet unclear.
Probably.
But when the camera zooms out, everyone is there, all smiling and happy. Something they haven't been this whole time. Yerin wakes up Eunha, she smiles, and they all run off together with a skip in their steps.
Yeah.
So what gives? This should not be happening. Shinbi shot Yerin, so why is she still there for Eunha? Heck, why are any of them there for her? Well, this brings us to Shinbi's big misunderstanding. Now, there's not really any direct proof for this in the video, but given everything else, it makes the most sense. Shinbi didn't understand what Eunha's wish really was. She thought Eunha wanted to go back in time to an environment where she could act as if she were a child again. Because as far as she was concerned, once you grow up, you can't go back. You become an adult and you stay that way. Which is why she tried to shoot Eunha, so that she would stay grown up and defeated. But Eunha's actual wish was to metaphorically turn back time within each member. That's right, the hunters, Yerin, and Shinbi, not just herself. To bring back that childlike sense of wonder they'd all lost. Shinbi didn't think this was possible, but it was. And you'll notice that in the final scene, everyone's in their grown-up clothes. They're still adults, but now they have that sense of wonder for good. And this is that major theme we saw with Yerin combining the seemingly opposed forces. That yes, it is possible to grow up, become an adult, and learn about the real world without losing the metaphorical magic of childhood and hopes and dreams. You can wake up from the dream without getting shot. In terms of GFRIEND, this video could mean that even though their concept is more mature and doesn't have their cute, innocent feel, they're still GFRIEND, they're still sweet, and they haven't let go of their dreams. But I think it also has a larger meaning. In modern society, we tend to think that a skeptical outlook is, if not correct, then at least a safer outlook to have. Being hopeful and trusting is either foolish, dangerous, or reason to be suspicious. But this story says quite the opposite. Shinbi's cynical attitude was her downfall.
True.
She ran from dangers that didn't exist. See, I told you that'd be important. She formulated a plan that was doomed to fail because she didn't see how her greatest rival could have such a hopeful and generous wish. And we can argue all day long about whether or not Eunha was morally a better person, but her hope and trustingness got things done, helped to change the world in a very real way.
Yeah, we would.
She really did have the upper hand, the upper fingertip, if you will. I hope you enjoyed this theory. I did put a lot of work into this. I was initially worried that, at best, there'd be something I'd have to gloss over or ignore, and at worst I'd have some gaping plot hole. But what really made me confident in this theory was how every little detail not only fit into it, but supported it. So again, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching.
That was good. Hold on, before we get into this, because that's the next little part. Time for Moon Knight is next up, and how that will potentially affect what that is. Now, I get this theory. It does make sense, especially with the butterfly effect. We've been talking about the butterfly effect for a while now. We've had a lot of butterflies. We continue to have butterflies. There's a lot. And with when I watched the fingertip MV, I always thought it definitely looked like there were sides to it. Almost like 3 sides, if you really think about it. Because Eunha is just kind of like on her own little world, in a sense, because she really does want to capture that butterfly and kind of change everybody's mindset a little bit. Where then you had Shinbi and Yerin a little bit more as like a little duo and out there. You also had Sowon, Yoonju, Umji. Though Umji kind of like disappears halfway through the MV, like story wise. But you have those as like the other side, and it always looked like they were hunting, especially Shinbi down, and Yerin in a sense, but more Shinbi than anything. So it's just like this big huge loop, and I really like that little piece where the Eunha Shinbi 2 sides, both kind of different. One, Eunha wanting the innocence almost back and wishful thinking, you know, dreams, that where, and then Shinbi being like, no, let's jump forward, more adult, etc., etc. Um, so that was interesting. I'm wondering if any of those little bits and pieces from this kind of like theory explanation of the MV will translate to the coming ones. So this is why I'm gonna re-record all 4 parts today because I want to kind of like keep everything track in my brain to see how we're going through. But yeah, no, that's a very interesting detail. The glass bead has been around for a while. Of course, we have the song Glass Bead, but in MVs, we see that glass bead pop up a couple of times. And that makes sense if that's kind of like unhustled like dream worlds in a way. That's interesting. Okay. Time for Moonlight. Yeah, this telling you Anna was dead. Yes, right here. I don't know if she killed herself, but she was dead. I don't know. Very interesting theory. I do think, like, for a lot. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are gonna come on the same, maybe. And Anha has, so, like, hold on. We're pausing here because I might have to, because there's gonna be a lot of reading involved, I have a feeling. Okay. Yeah. This whole big thing, yeah, we had the high school trilogy kind of like ended, but Anha has been quite a bit of like a little bit of a main character in like these middle eras here, especially Fingertip, all the way to like Apple, I would say. Like a lot of MVs kind of, I wouldn't say base around her, but there's a lot of little things where she is either by herself or the girls are trying to find her, etc., etc. And I wonder if Fingertips started at all. Now seeing that little theory video, I'm wondering if maybe because of that little kind of like dream catching the butterfly effect, is she going back through time? And they're not, to an extent. There's like a lot of little things, and we'll see. Yeah, and her journey started, Valeria. Okay. Hold on. I really am gonna have to pause through this, aren't I? You know what? I might not have to. This is a pretty easy read. So, under her umbrella by the end of the video. Foreshadowing. Okay. Potentially. I still think she died somehow. I'm not sure if she did it herself, but I still think. Because during this whole MV, I was just like, especially, there's like this part with Yaren. She's stuck? I don't know. Oh, she does have band-aids. Interesting. Paper planes. Yeah, she plays with a lot of paper planes. I always thought Yuju was heading somewhere. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah. I was like, pretty sure Anha is dead. Interesting. The letters and everything? Huh. Yeah, Urine had some things going on in this MV. Poor girl. Yeah, the cassette tape. We've seen the cassette in the past. Why urine? Yes. Yeah, she does switch to Anha's side in fingertip. We just saw that in the explanation there. Huh. Interesting. They do step into each other's dreams and fingertips, so that kind of... Could be anyway. a lot of people still think that the butterfly potentially could symbolize like innocence. I don't know, I kind of like the butterfly effect theory though. Dreams are a big part. Their little flashlights was so funny. This is a very interesting theory. Very intriguing. All right. Okay. So, before we get into Sunrise, because Sunrise also kind of like plays on this, I think. One, some heavy topics here. I've always thought that Unha was either dead or in another plane of existence or something to that effect, or even like trapped in a dream, per se. And the whole like her ending her life, I get it. I can see how you can like kind of place that. Especially with like that little like gravesite. It does make sense to me in my brain. But I really kind of think almost she's trapped in some kind of dream state. Because if you think about like the later MVs, we get more into a different theme. So it'll be interesting to see if those correlate. But and it could also be like, hey, she kind of like disappeared. The whole butterfly, the reverse of time, etc. Like she's kind of like going back where they're staying in the same same thing. They think she's dead, but she might not be. They meet her in the dream world, but she realizes that she can't escape it. There's like a whole big different kind of concept. But there's still a possibility. I still those are like the kind of like the two main theories that are always running in my brain for GFRIEND videos here, especially with these like two. I wouldn't say crossroad, like not as much as like Labyrinth and like that kind of era, but at least these two, there was always that whole big like she could be dead, she could be trapped, unknown. I'd love to know your thoughts if you think that this is, you know, a solid theory, or did we go a little too heavy on the darkness there? Which we could have. It could be that could have happened. It does, like, the way that they laid it out, it does make sense that that could be something that like actually happened in like that little MV, but unknown. Maybe once we watch Sunrise. Sunrise still has like that kind of theme too, though.
어젯밤 꿈을 꿨다. 함께 할 수 있는 시간이 짧았을 뿐 우리는 서로 떨어져 있는 게 아니었다.
See? Yes, like, it could be that, yes, it could be like a spirit world or like a dream world. Single time, I'm like, I just remember watching this MV and being like, is Anha dead? It was wild. Yeah, we have all the memories kind of going back. Oh, I never saw the cake. That's interesting. Yeah, they're like, no. The puzzle piece. Yeah, she snaps that puzzle piece in, for sure. We have all the paper airplanes, connects it back, you know? That's so loud in my ear. That's interesting. Oh, I only say that because Shinmi had that rose in fingertip that was trapped in the glass bean. Remember? Huh. I do like that they kind of like play on the hold on. Before we jump into that. I do like how it overall there is that kind of like fun little playful Shinbi Anha twin thing. Because of Unmi being both of their names. I like that they play on that on some of these MVs. With Sunrise. Sunrise always was that one. I'm like, man, I think she's dead. And like I said, it's a one or two. It's like either thing, right? Where she either is in the spirit world, right, Unha, or she's in like a dream world, like stuck there. And I only say this, and I know probably everybody's gonna be like, bro, you're not right. You're wrong. Well, hear me out here. Okay. We gotta look at Fingertip. We watched Fingertip first, right? We had a lot of stuff about dreams in Fingertip with the glass bead. We had Unha like catching the butterfly, kind of bringing back her one wish was bringing back everybody's kind of like innocence to an extent. Still being adults, but still having that like imaginative mind and hopes and dreams and wishes, etc. And not be bogged down by like adultness, you know, adult life. I'm wondering, and I kind of in a weird way wonder if, yes, she's kind of like almost stuck in like a dream world. She could be stuck in the spirit world, but in a weird dream world, because later on in some of the MVs, it just seems as though they are all together again. So that leads me to believe either they all go into a dream world or they all go into the spirit world, only because of what comes in the future MVs. Interesting, because we see the glass bead, and the glass bead, if we're going off of Fingertip, the glass bead holds like dream worlds or dream states or that kind of mentality of those were like the larger ones are ones where people are dreaming, and the smaller ones were like dream worlds, and the smaller ones aren't dream worlds. We saw that come into play, of course, with both Shinbi and Unha. And I'm wondering if that kind of like theme could potentially, I don't know. I do get the whole, like, Anha's dead. Trust me, I get it for that, because that was, well, like, one of my first things. But now kind of looking at it more, watching these theory videos, I don't know. It very well, she could be, but she could also just be trapped there. Like, just herself being trapped. I don't know. As we go through, maybe it'll be a little clearer. This one also, by the way, is supposed to be, I think, a little bit more of
in anticipation for the release of their newest mini album, GFRIEND released a video titled "The Tale of the Glass Bead," the previous story. This video explains connections between their previous music videos, in particular between Love Whisper, Navalera, and Fingertip.
Yes.
The narrator for this video states that the members started out as ordinary girls, who were one day bestowed powers from a lake in their village. The girls' envy for each other's powers grew, breaking apart their friendship.
Yeah, they have like powers, that's for sure.
Alone.
Yep.
This theme is continued in the teaser for their upcoming title track Crossroads, where we see shots of the girls alone. There's one scene where we see the girls together, but from the tone of the clip, it seems more like it's something that the girls are wistful for than them actually being reunited and on good terms.
There it is.
But in order to get a clearer understanding of what is to come for Crossroads, it is necessary that we take a step back. Before I dive into my explanation, I want to preface this video by saying this is just a theory, and it isn't meant to be taken too seriously. Today's video is mostly going to focus on the Love Whisper, Navalera, and Fingertip music videos, and how that ties into their upcoming album. The title for this mini-album is called Labyrinth, so naturally I started off my search for connections by looking up the significance of labyrinths.
I mean, labyrinths are huge. There's just like so many paths and like,
cultures, signifying self-discovery and connections between the physical and spiritual worlds. However, the most famous labyrinth is the one that stems from Greek mythology.
Yes.
In the story of the Minotaur, a man by the name of Minos is vying to become king, and requests Poseidon, the god of the seas, to give his blessings. Poseidon does so by granting Minos a white bull, which he is supposed to sacrifice to Poseidon after he rises to power. However, Once he becomes king, he decides to keep the bull for himself, which angered Poseidon. Poseidon then made his wife fall in love with the bull, and she became pregnant with its child, which grew up to be the Minotaur.
Wild. If you don't know, like,
Minos was very unhappy
Greek
about
mythology,
this.
it's
so
a wild ride. I love Greek mythology. I just love mythology in general.
Impossible to escape from. But what does this have to do with GFRIEND? Already we can see subtle connections being formed between the two. For example, the catalyst of both stories center around a quote-unquote gift gone wrong. In Minos' case, it was from the god of the sea, and in GFRIEND's, it's from a lake, both relating to water.
Interesting.
We can also see once Eunha releases the butterfly in Fingertip, it cuts to a shot of her in the room underwater, indicating that this blessing was actually the source of her distress. In order to truly understand this theory, we must switch to a different kind of labyrinth, a maze of the mind. The 2010 sci-fi thriller Inception centers around Dom Cobb, a man skilled in entering other people's subconsciousness to steal information from them. Cobb is offered one final job in exchange for his freedom from the world of corporate espionage, to plant an idea into the mind of Robert, the heir of an energy company. A 6-member team is assembled to pull off this heist. Cobb and his business partner Arthur are the most knowledgeable about the concept of mind manipulation and instruct the team what to do. Ariadne, a graduate student, is recruited to build a series of dreamscapes for them to enter into. Ames, whose skill of identity theft is used to manipulate Robert inside the dreamscape. Yusuf, a chemist who creates a powerful chemical to knock the members of the heist out to stabilize this dreamscape. And Mr. Saito, the man who made the request to Cobb in the first place. Now, going back to GFRIEND, some of the events in this music video, particularly in Fingertip, reminded me a lot about this movie. The video starts off with several of the girls in a dreamlike state. We see Eunha write, "Where are you?" and draw a butterfly when she goes to sleep. However, after she does go to sleep, we see Shinbi emerge from her body.
It's a wild trip right there.
All the other girls have similar events happen to them. Eunha is the only one to have another member's spirit inside of her, indicating that she's the primary figure being manipulated. I think this means that the girls are in Eunha's dreamscape, and that they, especially Shinbi, are trying to steal her powers by invading her mind.
Okay.
We see Eunha descending into the dreamscape, having a portal open up that takes her to a completely new location. However, she's too late to witness any of the action. Instead, we see the others observing her from yet another level in the dreamscape. Eunha then enters the third and final layer of the dreamscape, where she frees a butterfly from her glass cage. The movie Inception shows how people protect their most valuable secrets in safes locked far away in the depths of their minds. The members in the movie also had to go down through 3 layers of dreamscapes in order to finally access Robert's vault. By freeing the butterfly, Eunha has chosen to reveal the secrets about her powers. We then see Soyeon reaching out to Eunha after she frees the butterfly, but Shinbi shoots her. This is likely because Shinbi is hoping to keep the secret to the powers to herself.
That was Yurin, not Soyeon.
Eunha then falls off a building, seemingly about to plummet to her death, when she wakes up. The process to waking up in Inception is somewhat similar. In the movie, this feeling of suddenly jolting back to reality is called a kick. Kicks are generally due to external stimuli, but during the whole dream in a dream, kicks can be stimulated by synchronizing certain events of destruction between all levels of the dreamscape. If all goes according to plan, the person being manipulated will have no idea that they had their secret stolen from them. Instead, the whole thing will feel like a dream. We see a few more nods that support this idea that Eunha's dreams are being manipulated. In Inception, time moves more slowly the further you travel down a dreamscape, which is why
this is the first time I've
holding a clock
heard like this kind of
fast
theory
in the beginning
here.
of the video,
I'm
which
intrigued.
represents the first level. We also see Eumji locking away stuffed animals, which might demonstrate her trying to protect her own secrets in a mental safe. We also see the actions in one layer of the dreamscape affecting actions in subsequent ones. For example, we see Shinbi shooting Soon and Yuju from a television screen, indicating that they are in parallel layers of the mind. In this case, why is the symbolism of the glass bead in particular so important? My guess is that the glass beads not only are connected to the girls' powers, but also serve as totems to ground the members into reality. In Inception, each individual has a unique totem that they use to tell if they are still in a dream or if they are in reality. The biggest example of this is Dom Kpop's totem, a spinning top. If the top keeps spinning, he's still trapped in a dream, but if the totem falls over, he's awake. I think each of the girls have their own glass beads that allow them to tell
this is an interesting theory, actually,
or if they're still stuck in a dream, being manipulated by someone else. In the teaser for Crossroads, we see Eunha looking at her glass bead at the end, as some dark material swirls around inside of it. This may mean she's either stuck in a dream or that she's back to reality, but the destruction the envy of the other members caused is unmendable. I feel like the story is centered around Eunha rather than the other members because of her connection to the butterfly, but why is this so important? In Love Whisper, after the girls have had their powers granted to them in the lake, they notice a butterfly flying around. They spend the majority of this music video seemingly in search of something. I'm guessing that they were searching for the butterfly because they start to chase it the first time it flies away from Shinbi. Then they catch it using their recording device, but ultimately decide to set it free. I have a feeling that this butterfly is connected to their powers. Perhaps the members agreed to not chase the butterfly so that they would be equal in their power, but ultimately Eunha didn't follow through with this, angering the other members, especially Shinbi since the butterfly approached her first. Perhaps this is why she sets the butterfly free in the end, after realizing her wrongdoings, but at that point, she's beyond redemption in Shinbi's mind, and Shinbi then decides to steal her powers to balance the scale. So, with all that being said, here's how I think the order of the music videos goes. I think the majority of GFRIEND's music videos take place before Love Whisper. During Love Whisper, the girls are granted their powers. They agree to be content with their powers, but Eunha betrays them, causing the others, especially Shinbi, to become angry. In Navalera, we see the girls growing more and more jealous of each other. We see them destroying objects that are important to one another. Objects are thrown at Eunji's stuffed animal, and someone plays bowling with Shinbi's trophies. This growing envy is what drives them to carry out the plot of Fingertip. We even have a foreshadowing of this concept when Yuju sings "Wake Up from the Dream" in Navalera. While I couldn't really find a meaning of the word Navalera, I did see a post by a fan who searched up the Korean name to find a French book that translates to Butterfly of the Stars.
Yeah, like a butterfly effect.
What do you know? Fingertip takes place in a seemingly cosmic background where Eunha is chasing after a butterfly. Eunha sets the butterfly containing whatever secret to the powers that the members were coveting, but it was too late. The envy the girls felt to one another was probably too strong to return things back to the way they were. This now takes us to the Crossroads comeback. Personally, I think this video will show GFRIEND reuniting after having been torn apart for so long. However, there will likely be some twist at the end to indicate that not everything is as it seems, and that the girls still aren't truly unified. In one of the teaser images for Crossroads, we see the members in dark outfits standing on train tracks. This reminds me of the train in Love Whisper, only this time instead of being a source of joy, this is a source of misery. I think no matter how hard the girls try, they won't be able to turn back time and go back to the way things were. But what truly matters is how they handle the journey ahead.
Wild. I have thoughts, okay? I do. It's pretty good little video there. Okay, so here's this idea kind of fits with my trapped in a dream theory from Eunha. I know, like, we keep on saying potentially, like, you know, she's dead. It still could be, to be honest. Just there's a lot of symbolism there in that music video. But the whole thing with her being kind of in like a dream inception makes a lot of sense in my brain. I'm like, okay, I can see this. I always thought that they all kind of have their own little powers. We kind of see that a little bit here and there in potential MVs, but the whole thing with her, like tying like the parallels between Greek mythology and then of course Labyrinth, because we have Labyrinth now, plus the film Inception. If you haven't watched Inception, you should. It's a great movie. A lot of twists and turns in that one as well. The whole with the bead potentially being like that kind of like tie between worlds, or like dream and reality, could be significant in this. How like Time for Moon Knight ties into this theory, that is the one MV out of all of the MVs that kind of throws everything kind of like a little wrench into things, where you kind of start leaning like more towards a kind of Eunha is dead theory versus Eunha's potentially trapped in like a dream world or dream escape type situation. And you see them kind of bounce in and out of this potential dream or spirit worlds. Like, that's the one MV that kind of like puts a big dent in a lot of these, or a big like little wrench into a lot of these type of theories, because it does kind of make sense potentially that she is in like a spirit world and not a dream world based off of that. But here we are. So interesting. Okay. I love it. I love this. Everybody kind of has their own little theory, which I really appreciate it. And I love getting little bits and pieces from everybody's theories that they have, and then trying to formulate my own little theory or see if people's theories are similar to mine. And as we go through, we'll like talk about it more in these upcoming videos, because tomorrow we'll have more of Crossroad theory on a couple of them, with a breakdown of like the lyrics and MV somebody does, and like the meaning, bookish theories. I think that's what all of those MVs tomorrow are. And then we'll go into I-DLE, and how I-DLE is connected to the story, as well as connected to a bigger multiverse with I think it's BTS and somebody else, TNT. I think it might be. It's like two boy groups on how they're connected to those storylines. So we have a lot. We have more to go through. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. I'd love to read them. See if we're all kind of on the same little wavelength here. Potentially unknown, really. So get those in. I'd love to hear them. And tomorrow we'll do some more. So we'll be back with a few more videos of theories and lore, potentially, of what the GFRIEND universe all means. I'm very excited to continue this. You will see this same hoodie. I am recording them all today because I want to keep everything tracked. I'm just ready to go. But thank you once again. You guys all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.